Greetings and welcome to another round of Master Phil in Your Corner podcast. This is episode number 83, Concealed Carried Weapons for Self-Defense. So today we have our special guest is my brother, John Robert Pierson of Eagle Guardian Solutions, AKA Iron Bob, from back in the days when we used to bring 40 or 50 competitors to a tournament and come home with just as many medals. If you listen to my podcast often, you'll hear me refer to some people as my brother. Well, guess what? Yeah, I do have quite a few brothers. You know why? Because when you're in combat, when you're sweating, when you're training, when you're in potentially life-threatening situations with someone, you develop a camaraderie. Not only did Bob and I train together, ride motorcycles together, we bounced together, we did a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of training together, for a couple of decades there, until he moved to Las Vegas area. But it's something that you hear us say, and again, we've been around for a little while too, so we have had the opportunity to get quite a few friends in here. But we're going to talk a little bit more about John and the Eagle Guardian Solutions. But first, let us thank our sponsors. First of all, none of this would be possible without philross.com, our main sponsor. And if you need training in martial arts, fitness, kettlebells, body weights, so forth, check out philross.com. We are going to have a new site. It's actually being worked on as we speak. I was just speaking with the programmer right now, and I dumped off all the information to him. We have the Body Bell method. It's the world's only kettlebell bodyweight and dynamic tension certification based on a minimalist approach to strength, health, and fitness. This system is recognized by both ACE and NASM for continuing education credits and is listed on their respective sites. Certifications are available in person or online. We have products for training through Dragon Door, kettlebells, videos, books, so forth. We have Fit Team for healthy, organic, energy boosting, and weight control supplements. And then we have Up Boxer. My link will be out shortly, might even be up right now. And it's for the best in keeping the boys snug. Burn Along. I'm a featured instructor along with my wife on Burn Along. Join me and 2,000 other instructors. It's only $14.95 a month. Make sure to go to the Master Phil in Your Corner website. Use the special code there. P3 Training Group. Plan, protect, prepare. Are you, your family, or company prepared? Are you ready when trouble finds you? And of course, Health is a Wealth. Check it out. Get on there, secure your position. It's free to join. We have education, health, wellness, fitness, you name it. Check out Health is a Wealth. We also opened up our vendor section. We are partnered with Amazon right now. And then if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more and want to hire me in person, yes, you can. I do speaking engagements and coaching through the Professional Speakers Bureau, as well as Z Winning Mindset. So check them out, give me a holler, and we'll get you going. All right, enough of the shameless plugs. Now let's get into a subject that's very near and dear to all of our hearts. And before we get into that, let's give the audience your background. It's very diverse, both wide and deep. And I know I was part of the training process here for you. So
that's a fact. Well, Phil, first, hi, and thank you for the brotherly welcome. I certainly feel as warmly as you do about that. And for the same reasons, sweating and bleeding together, you kind of develop a bond. My training and experience goes back all the way, even before you and I got together. I was doing scuba for 30 some odd years, and then working with you for all those years. And then coming out here and doing firearms, starting with Frontside Academy and then with my own business. So over 35 years of instructing and training in extreme disciplines. I would say scuba was pretty extreme too.
Yeah.
You had to get the people's attention and you had to develop their trust.
I remember, yeah, I remember some of the stories you told me about people like running out of oxygen and clawing. Oh man, oh,
Yeah, well, it's very similar to the shooting.
Yeah, yeah,
There isn't much room for mistake.
no,
It's similar to martial arts. If it wasn't a point tournament and it was a real contact tournament, you don't have much room to make a mistake. You
no,
know?
especially in those bare knuckle ones. Yeah, so,
Yeah, you can come home in a cast. Anyway, my current passion is getting back into concealed carry training.
nice.
I left the industry around 2012 because of points that we'll address today. I came back to the industry last year for the same reasons. I mean, with the pandemic, there was an unbelievable increase in permits issued and applications. I just looked at the New Jersey numbers. Since the law changed, over 300,000 applications were put in.
I'm one of them.
Yeah. And I also looked at the qualifications, and we can talk about that as we're
Yes.
going along. But yeah, as you said, my background is pretty diverse, but I like getting that trust that develops between a student and an instructor, especially in an extreme discipline like that.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're going to get. They don't know what they can expect. They just know that they trust you to deliver, what you promised to deliver.
You know what though, but you really didn't tell much. You gave a little bit about your background, but I just want to let everyone know what you were doing at Front Sight. Because I remember that I was actually recruited to go to Front Sight, and I wasn't going to be able to take the job, so I took you with me. And then said, well, you can't have me because I live in New Jersey, but look who we got here. And
Brad Hansen brings that up a couple of times. He said, we brought Phil out to interview, and he brought his assistant with him. And while we couldn't hire Phil, we hired his assistant. So I ended up being a senior range master with them, teaching 3 different disciplines of small arms. I was their director of their martial arts program, actually creating the curriculum for the empty hand program and the advanced program. And then I was also their knife instructor.
Right.
And on top of that, in case anybody had accidents, I was their senior medic, EMT.
Yeah, and I remember you wrote the manuals for empty hand and edged weapons.
That's correct, and the advanced hand, empty hand. Yeah. So we had, and I participated in the manual for tactical shotgun. So it was exciting, it really was.
Yeah.
And everybody always gets into, well, did you like your boss? You loved your boss, whatever it was, had nothing to do with that. Seeing 40 new students every other week was a gift, and developing that connection. I have pictures up all around about students that meant so much to me. A guy suffering from Parkinson's, we worked together over 2 or 3 classes, and from going to shuffling up to try and tape his target and barely finishing to actually winning the overall range man on man against some guy that was 6'6" Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps guy looked at me and I said, you better bring your A game. This guy is trained. And I asked him one time, I said, Jeff, if you don't mind me asking, what makes you tremble? And he said, if I don't know the next 3 steps immediately. So I said, okay, let's reduce the presentation of the handgun to 3 steps, like grab and shoot. And he worked on that, Phil, for 2 weeks, came back, won the man on man, brought him to the best of the range, and against 5 other ranges. Now you're talking a total of 200 students that all competed for this. He won the best man on the range. So
my son's called.
That was the best experience.
That's awesome. We're on the air right now. Say hello to the audience.
Hey, hello, audience. That's the ball.
All right, we're talking guns. Right. Yeah. Yes. Right.
I had plenty of experiences like that, and even after all these years, these people still reach out and contact and say we miss your training. So I'm hoping I see them again.
Yeah, that's I hope so, and I'm sure you will. Because of the expert training that you provided for them, and I know that we have had many conversations about self-protection, guarding others, and the thing is that with the the way that the police are being hamstrung, personal protection is even more upon us because if the criminals realize that they can get away with a lot, which they can, the incident's going to increase for violent crimes as it has. I mean, look at, you look at most of these cities, they're out of control. And I did a podcast on that, a few podcasts back about, the state of our cities and how terrible they are, with the crime rate, violent crime rate escalating. It's because of because the police are unable to provide us the proper protection. And aside from that is that, what the police are there in minutes when seconds count. Personal protection is a personal responsibility, and you have to be the one to take care of yourself. And that's what we're trying to do. But, it's a double-edged sword like anything, because, you can't just have like we discussed before, you can't just have people run around, with AKs and grenade launchers and so forth, and not know how to use any of the weaponry that they have.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the programs, and we can talk about what you're doing, and we can compare it to what the requirements are for the New Jersey test, because New Jersey test is very comprehensive.
I read it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm fine. They accept the what's it, HQC 1 and HQC 2. I took the 2, and I did 2 guns with it, and because every time you go with a gun, every time you want to carry a gun, you have to qualify with that gun.
Yeah, that's a change. That's a departure from the rules in Nevada. Nevada, if you qualify with one handgun, you're qualified with all of them.
Well, most normal states are like that, except for the People's Republic of New Jersey, with Herr Commandant Murphy at the helm.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm certainly in the same camp in terms of politics. But at some point, the human being, the individual, has to engage in some common sense. And if you're going to carry a 1911 and you train and certify with a 1911, and then you go to a Glock, which is totally different, or a revolver, you would think your own common sense would say, hey, let me go out there and get some training with that thing. Maybe not go and get another license with it, but at least take a class so you can familiarize yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I say it's got plus and minuses, because look, I know what I would do, and I know that you would do the proper steps. Like, I know that, so I want to use I got a snub nose, okay, 357 snub nose, and I have my 45, my H&K. So I'm training with those right now, because I think I'm going to maybe test with those as well. But just the fact that I'm training with them constantly, I just don't know if I'm ever going to pull a snub nose and try to shoot someone 25 yards away from me.
25 or 50 yards, wasn't it? Didn't they?
No, it's 25, 75 feet, 75 feet.
Oh my God.
I mean, and we don't have a stand your ground state.
No, you don't.
No, this is like, you, in my estimation, you shoot someone 25 yards away in the state of New Jersey, going to jail for capital murder.
If you say that they're approaching you and you're afraid of them, yeah, you're going to jail. I can only envision this as some kind of active shooter deterrent.
Right.
You see something going on and you want to get involved.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't even carry in parks.
You can't carry in public places.
I mean, there's so many places you can't, where it would happen. You're not allowed to carry.
Well, there was some discussion about those elements. Will they hold up in court or not? I think a lot of them will be thrown out.
Yeah,
you can't carry in state parks. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
None. Because I think the criminals kind of carry wherever they want.
They go wherever they want, and if they want to shoot somebody in an active shooter, they're going to go where it's crowded. That's a public place. So
it's a public place. They're not going to come. There's not going to be too many mass shooters, coming into your house.
Yeah, where you go to meditate, they're not going to be there. So I agree with that, but I think those are all going to be challenged in court.
Yeah,
so go down the tube.
So as an expert firearms instructor, let's say, to me, I think it's even more important for a female to be able to carry. Okay. I mean, when we were younger, we really didn't worry about carrying guns, because you know what? We could rock and roll, but now a little bit older, a little bit slower, things hurt a lot more, like,
Yeah.
getting up in the morning. But so we like to have the weaponry to be able to defend ourselves effectively, especially when there's more than one attacker. But then look, you have a woman, 120 pounds, some 210-pound guy grabs her by the back of the head. What is she going to do? And the thing is, I see the laws in New Jersey as being prohibitive to a woman being able to, obtain a concealed carry permit, especially for a smaller weapon. So what are your thoughts on that, and what do you think the distance is and the type of training they should be going for?
Regarding women, I had a lot of experience in teaching classes that were mixed, and during those classes, I had the opportunity to observe how a lot of the women reacted, and when their vision was focused on the attacker, they got intimidated, and that brought with it hesitation, maybe the wrong moves, that kind of thing. And in one case, I actually turned them around, got everybody quiet, and I said, I just want you to use your hearing and instincts. And she reacted properly, pivoted out of the way, ducked down low, and did what she had to do. So I think the vision aspect of causing a stall, like the deer in the headlights, is more prevalent in a woman or a smaller male, or an older gentleman, older woman, whatever, somebody that's not used to, like you and I, not used to tangling it up if you had to. It's the close quarter element that I teach goes along the stated fact that the average is 3 seconds for an attack. 3 seconds. A handgun confrontation is over an average of 3 seconds, average of 3 to 5 shots. So go ahead.
And what's the distance? This is
3 yards.
Yeah.
Three yards max.
Yeah.
And you can't reach somebody at 3 yards. So when I'm training them, I get them close to within hand's reach, and they're either guarding their head or they're striking, only to buy a second, just a second, so they can throw the attacker off and they can reboot because they just got shocked. Right. And they move with that, and they get the gun out, they bring it up to the side, and they shoot. And they don't have to be perfect shots. They just have to hit the attacker someplace, because that's going to stall them. Then they move again. And by the time that they're finished that second move, their brain has already rebooted, and they're ready to go, pace for pace with this guy. And the problem is that rebooting is only going to happen if you train your muscle memories to do that when your brain isn't in the game. You just got the hell shocked out of you, so naturally you're going to do things. You're going to strike, pull it out, and then move. If you're not trained to do that and you haven't practiced it, I can't tell you what your chances are.
Yeah.
My money's not on you, but
I mean,
I try and impress that upon people, but and we'll talk about it as we go along. The desire for additional training, I don't know if it goes in connection with a state where you can get the permit. The desire for additional training here or prerequisite training is pretty weak. Yet you go to California where it's so hard to get a permit, or it used to be. The people there will do anything to train. They love to train.
Yeah.
Do anything you want to do. So I don't know what the connection is.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when it's easy to obtain, people are like, it's easy to get, so they don't really do anything about it. But here, like in New Jersey, I know that, I go to the ring at least once a week. I'm shooting once a week, honing my skills. Why? Because it was so hard to get. And I want to keep it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like anything. I think, if something is easy to get, it's like, who cares? But if it's hard to get, it's hard to obtain, hard to keep, people work at it because they really want it, and the motivated people will do it. Just getting my permit. I don't even have it yet. It's in process. I know I'll get my Florida permit before.
I think it's 60 days. It's been 60 days, they said, if you don't get it in 60 days.
Yeah. We'll see. Okay. So, but the funny thing was, what I did was I took the test and got the certificate and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? I got a place in Florida. Let me see what the non-residents there. So I filled out the application online, did everything, paid my $50, sent my my qualifications in, right? And I was just going to go and do my fingerprints when I went down there, because you can't do electronic fingerprints if you're a
Oh,
non-resident.
you have to get a real card.
Yeah. Well, you know what they did? Didn't even wait. They sent me a card in the mail to go and get it done.
Do Arizona, non-resident Arizona, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You know, I did that and I sent it off. I guarantee you, I'll get my non-residence Florida before I get my residence New Jersey.
Yeah.
Guarantee you. And I had to fill out, I mean, these paperwork, I had to have all these references, right? You have to have 3 references. You have to have your paperwork, and it's got to be on the same piece of paper. 3 originals, notarized. All the guns that I'm using that I got qualified with, copies, notarized. It was
wow.
Yeah, 150 for the qualification test, and then 50 for each gun. I mean, it's like crazy processing fee.
New Jersey is an insurance state, right?
Oh yeah.
Insurance companies own the state, so this is a liability thing. They're thinking about liability.
Yeah, they're thinking about, they don't want us carrying.
They don't want to be liable for you carrying.
They don't want us carrying because they want us under their thumb, but that's a whole nother thing. Let me ask you this, because this is something that's been in my mind, and I've been talking to some people like yourself and other people that are more adept at carrying than I am, and in this defensive tactic situation. So let's say somebody pulls a gun on you and they're too far away for you to use a disarm, and you have your gun on you. What do you do? Movement
immediately. Movement is your friend. It's the only thing that you can count on that'll throw him off, because he thinks he's got you in his sights shocked. And
right.
Move, maybe he'll wing you, but if you get it out and you get a shot off, now we're getting more on an even Steven basis. Yeah. If the gun is out, that's an attack. It doesn't matter what the distance is. But you're designed to move to cover. You should move to cover.
So, and the things, again, I've been speaking with people about it, and then, I was thinking of some other ways to deal with this. One was that, normally I would want to go to the outside, but apparently it's better to go to the inside, because the pecs and the arm get tight and it's hard for them to follow you this way, that it's easier for them to swing it out. Yeah. Now, the other thing is, I was thinking about this too.
Which, as a right-handed person, that's to your advantage too.
Right. Yeah. Because now, let me ask you this. What about moving to the side, dropping and drawing? I mean, is that something that's been a tactic where you drop to the ground and draw and shoot? I don't know.
Look at it this way. If your response is going to be a hip shot or maybe a two-handed shot, chances are, as you're coming up, you're going for the mid-body.
Right.
You duck down, you're putting your head right into his target.
Right, into his, that's the problem.
And I'd like to keep my head out of that area.
Right. That's one thing. Like, he's going to be shooting this way. Yeah. So you're better off just moving. You're better off
trying to hit that head box on the move is virtually impossible.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. Yeah, definitely. So we want to use our some type of pie stepping or box stepping, or just off to the side as we're drawing and firing. Yeah,
definitely.
Or a rock and lock situation.
That's what it brings up, like the appendix carry. A lot of people think that's very fast, to carry up front. Appendix carry?
No. Yeah.
Well, if you have a safety on the gun, like a 1911, or it's a double action, single action, like a SIG, the recommendation is that's okay. If it's only a striker fire with a trigger safety, the recommendation is to stay away from that appendix carry. The other danger is if you get it out and you want to quickly respond, if you're too close to the body, the slide is going to hit your body and then it's going to jam.
It's going to jam.
So you're up a creek. That you have to practice. I like the side, or the 4 o'clock position.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable here. I can draw and shoot pretty quickly and accurately from that position. That's why I practice.
I think it's quick. Yeah, I think it's quick.
You know,
I
a
like
lot,
it right on the side. You know, it's great if I could wear a jacket, but it gets
right.
too warm around here.
Yeah. Now,
You know,
what
so
about just wearing like a vest?
the vest works great. You know, it's just it's still too warm around here. You know, you got
Well,
guys that
just wear a vest, like the village
guys,
people.
guys that either carry in some kind of a fanny pack, which
Yeah.
you know exactly what it is,
Right.
or they have a bigger T-shirt and they just work with it under there. But it's always a smaller gun, or it's a pocket holster. Now you're talking even smaller gun. Like I have a Sig 365,
Right.
and that's considered a pocket gun.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
shoots, it shoots very well,
Mhm.
but beyond 7 yards, I think you're going to be up a creek.
Well, you see, this is what I'm talking about, especially that distance. Like, I know that when you're training people, what is you typically stay within that like under 30
21
feet,
foot
right?
rule. The 21-foot rule. I train them 3, 5, and 7. You know, when it comes to the time skill test at the end, I
Yeah.
give them the option. We go to 10. I give them the option of either doing a 15-yard shot, 2 to the chest, or they can opt for the 7-yard headshot,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
timed. You know, one or the other, just to
Yeah.
give them a taste of responding at those distances. But the most of the class is 3, 5, and 7.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing was that when I was training for this test, I mean, anything like between 15 yards and closer, no problem. But the 25 yards,
That's
I
tough
wasn't
shot.
used to it. And plus kneeling, they make you kneel and we have to go behind cover. We have
Really?
to go, yeah, one side over and the other side with
I
cover.
think that's a little excessive because that would be considered advanced handgun.
Yeah.
To kneel and go behind cover is part of the advanced handgun curriculum normally, you know. But I hate to say this, but I do agree with a portion of them being a little bit more demanding in terms of handgun proficiency. Because if they did their homework and they look at some of the other states, for instance, in Nevada,
Yeah.
do not have to present with any handgun proficiency. You can come, pick the gun up off a counter, not even a holster, and shoot your 30 rounds like that. And that's it. That's the minimum qualification. That's discouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there should be more, way more, but again, this is also I'm of the opinion that all police officers should be trained in martial arts and jujitsu and things like that, and like 90% of them aren't, because again, what portion of the people are really taking it that seriously that they're going to put the extra effort in?
None of the ones that have ever been sued.
Yeah.
It's like I know New Jersey requires liability insurance too, don't they?
Yeah, and it's difficult to obtain as well.
It might be
Not every place
$400 or
wants to
so.
have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know out here for instructor liability insurance is $400 a year, and it covers errors and omissions and any kind of negligence on your part.
Yeah.
But if you ever saw, I mean, even if you're not criminally prosecuted,
yeah,
you could be civilly prosecuted, and that costs a fortune to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So you're either a member of the NRA or the USCCA, and they'll provide, some kind of legal help.
USCCA won't cover you in Jersey.
Yeah, they won't?
Nope.
That's a shame.
I sent them the text to do it, and they're like, sorry. I'm like,
so
okay.
Delta Defense won't cover you in New Jersey.
Well,
what about the NRA?
Yeah, I think the NRA will, but I got another one that I'm going to try out, see if they work. So that was recommended to me by the people who administer these federal. I got my the test was conducted by federal agents, so he gave me this contact, so I just hit them up. So, but
how hard is it to become a CCW instructor in New Jersey?
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I think I'll probably.
What I was reading, it looks like it's pretty tough. They're going to law enforcement instructors.
Yeah,
and they're bringing them out.
Yeah, it's basically law enforcement instructors.
Yeah.
Only the guys I was working with at the range are all like most of the guys leading the course are law enforcement.
Yeah.
Or former law enforcement officers. So.
Well, my buddy Eric, who ran Adapt Academy for a while out here, wildly successful. As I told you, second generation from Front Sight.
Right.
We worked together, and then I left, and he continued for a while.
Yeah.
And his passion was the same, with the students.
Mhm.
And then he just started seeing other businesses not really adhere to the standards that you should.
Oh,
Not
kind of like
even
martial arts?
standards. No, he knew martial arts. He wasn't
No,
martial
no,
arts.
but kind of like martial arts, how like
Yeah, similar, point and, we're going to get your kid to be a black belt at the age of
20 minutes.
yeah. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But that's why he's taking a break from it. He just, and it's the same reason why I took a break back in 2012.
Right.
You just get a real depressing feeling when the students who you care about, could get it cheaper and quicker and with less headache. I mean, they regard training as a headache. I don't see that. I don't understand that. I mean, the grandmother, I was out doing a class as an assistant,
Yeah.
and we had a grandmother out there that had a revolver that she needed 2 fingers to pull the trigger. And I'm thinking, you're going to carry that concealed and do what with it? What's going to happen is you're going to come out and you're going to shoot some passerby in the head, and then all hell is going to break loose. And that's the concern I have with this dilution of training, not what you're seeing in New Jersey. You're seeing a stiffening. Over here, we have 25 states. As of this January, 25 states are going to be no permit. That means no permit required, no background check, and no handgun training. And you can get a CCW permit. I think that's a little bit easy.
I think
Consider you graduate from college and say, I want to be a doctor. And they say, okay, send in an application. You're a doctor.
I think it's a little irresponsible. I think it's a little irresponsible.
I think it's very irresponsible.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it's an isolated incident. I have, a certain conspiracy paranoia, but, it's just, if that happened with being a doctor, for instance, what would happen over the course of years where you were able to become a doctor after a college graduation, and that's it, and then all these people start dying all over the place? What's the public going to do? The public's going to come in and say, get rid of these guys.
Yep.
And make the qualifications higher. What would the public do here with 25 states where any Jack and Jill can carry concealed with no experience?
Yeah. I mean, look, you have to have a safety course. You have to have a basic shooting course. You have to get that. I mean, but that's just being a responsible person doing.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Why aren't they being responsible?
Right. And if you're irresponsible, you shouldn't be carrying a firearm. Just like if you're irresponsible, you shouldn't be driving a car.
It's almost like I felt they were led into it that for so many years it was hard to get a permit, and they were afraid their firearms were going to be taken away from them. So the minute they get a chance to grab a permit, they grab it.
They grab it.
Instead of thinking about, why is this being made so damn easy? The guy has to be thinking.
Well, hopefully they're going to realize the responsibility and the power that they do have, and they're going to realize that, hey, you know what? I need to get some training on this, and that's when they contact a guy like you at
I would hope.
Eagle Solutions, and you had some other friend, the guy you're saying.
Yeah, Eric at Adapt Academy. He definitely, he's the kind of guy to go to, and he has an established program. I changed my curriculum a little bit. At first, I put out the basic CCW minimum standard thing, 8 hours. And then I said, let me offer a combo and put in there 4 or 5 hours of handgun 1, which just gets you in the holster, loading, unloading, malfunction, that kind of stuff, aiming, sight picture. And, it's not that much more. It's $130 instead of $100. And you spend 5 more hours with me. But I get almost 6 hours with you on the range, which is important.
Fantastic.
Yeah, important. And then we review the laws. The other thing about range time is I get to blend the laws with the range activities. So I say, okay, how far away are you from this aggressor? Are there multiple aggressors? What are you going to do? What's the law? You've got 3 seconds to make your decision. Do you shoot them or you don't shoot them?
Yeah.
So
well, that's the other thing too. And that's another reason that they have to get some training, because you have to be able to make those decisions like that. But John, tell us if people want to contact you.
You can call me Bob, Phil.
You know, you see me
that's
stuttering.
our
That's why I
entire
used to-
lives.
So where can people get in touch with you?
I am on Yelp right now as
Mhm.
Eagle Guardian Solutions. I also have a page on Facebook under Guardian Defensive Solutions.
Okay.
Same thing. And my own personal page, they can grab me. And then my phone number, they can call anytime. Do you want me to give that?
You can do it. I know what I'll do is I'll put it in the description of the.
Yeah, and my email address. It's pretty easy. I'm also listed on the list of approved instructors from Las Vegas Metro. So they put that out twice a year.
Oh, fantastic. So what I'll do is I'll put your contact information in the description of the podcast.
And if they want to see any aspect of the close quarter training we were talking about,
Mhm.
they could Google an introduction to Eagle Guardian Solutions in Las Vegas. And
Mhm.
that'll bring up the first heading, will bring up a video where I show that one technique. I think you saw it once a while
Yep,
back.
yep.
That one technique, and I talk about it. And it's pretty neat. It was done by a professional videographer, so I didn't do it with my cell phone or anything.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Bob, for being with us. This is Master Phil signing off. Strength and honor.
Strength and honor, brother.